You will be glad you called Wright Heating and Cooling at 452-1148. We'll keep you cool for less.
8:23 at Country 102. Today, still a chance for some more showers and thunderstorms. Our high low to mid 80s and partial clearing late tonight with a low in the low 60s. Weekend looking pretty good. Sunshine and mid 80s. Going to be hot to upper 80s on Sunday. Right now, 72 degrees at 8:23. And this is the Louis Herron Toyota weekend kickoff. Louis Herron in studio with us. Our final break for today. Before we talk about what we were, the different things, let's remind everybody next week. We won't be here. We'll be with the Love Bucket next week. That's right. Let's hold on. Let's try that again. Next week, we will be at your place.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. We got the Love Bucket the last Friday of every month. We do that. That's our part of our community involvement that we're proud about, that we take two charitable organizations. And again, if you're listening, please go to louisherrontoyota.com and nominate your charity or anyone you want. You can put them in the bucket. And then we take two out and give each of them $500, put them on the radio and talk about their cause and what they do and how people can contact them and be involved.
Okay, and we do that the last Friday of every month, and we will be at Louis Herron Toyota next Friday. All right, leasing has been one of our topics this morning, and just to clarify something, we talk about the options that you have with a lease. If the lease is running out and you're trying to decide, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to turn it in? Am I going to trade it? Am I going to buy it? What am I going to do? And my question to you was, if somebody just says, okay, the lease is out, I just want to turn it in, and they're over on their mileage, then they're going to have to come out of pocket. But if they want to trade it in, if I'm just trying to get clear on this.
Sure.
It's a chance. It's just an option, and sometimes it's the best option.
Yes. Okay. Here's the simplest way that I can put this. At the time of trading a vehicle, I don't care if it's leased, I don't care if it's owned, I don't care if it's rented, I don't care. You call it whatever you want to call it. When you're trading a vehicle and there's a balance owed on the vehicle, okay, when you trade, you either have equity or you have negative equity, okay? And those two things are determined by how much money you financed, how much cash you put down, etc. Because most people put very little money down, they finance their taxes in the deal, most people have negative equity. Sometimes it's $2,000, sometimes it's $4,000, sometimes it's $1,000. With that said, the manufacturers put in rebates and incentives to eat up some of that negative equity so the customer doesn't eat it all. We all kind of share in that so we can continue to trade people in and out of cars.
Gotcha.
Now, with that said, at the end of a lease vehicle or end of a purchased vehicle, there's a payoff in both, okay? So if you owe $10,000 and your value is $8,000, you have a $2,000 deficit. So if you leased a vehicle, you still have a $2,000 deficit. Now flip over and say, well, wait a minute, I don't want to roll $2,000 negative equity into this deal. What is it if I turn the vehicle in? Well, if you've been over mileage and that's the option you want to go, you may have $2,000 in over mileage. You may need to put a set of tires on the car and 2 dings. You may be $3,900 that you owe on this by excess wear and tear and mileage. So when I say, listen, it's typically a no-brainer to trade it, because typically in this hypothetical situation, you have $2,000 in negative equity by trading, and the dealer gets the car and the miles and the tires and the dents and the dings, and the payoff. The bank doesn't care what you do with it because you've traded it. They got their payoff.
Right.
Versus if you turn it in and walk away, the bank's going to say, okay, great, thanks for the car. Here's a bill, $3,900. You're out. You're worse off if you turn the vehicle in. But I guess the big thing is, because we can go back and forth, the big thing that I need everybody to understand is whether you lease it or buy it, okay, at the end of the day, both have a payoff. Both typically have negative equity. In a leased vehicle, I would typically always trade the vehicle in unless I'm below the miles. The main thing is, if you're someone who should lease or someone who should buy, at the end of the day, you need to look at your personal driving habits and what you typically do. If you're a person that trades, Randy, every 2 years, 3 years, you always got that itch, all you're doing is buying and you're renting it for a higher price. I mean, that payment may be $400 a month, where you could have leased that vehicle and it could have been $300 a month, and you could have taken that $100 over the course of 3 years, 36 months, and put that $3,600 away for college fund, for savings, for extra stuff for yourself, instead of putting it towards the car.
And the reminder, leasing is not right for everybody, but for a lot of people, it is the best option.
That's exactly right. And again, theautoschool.com, if you're listening, theautoschool.com, get all the information so you can make a well-informed decision when you're buying a car.
All right. Thank you, sir, for being with us today.
You're welcome.
Louis Herron, the Louis Herron Toyota Weekend Kickoff. Have yourself a good weekend, and make sure you join us next week as we will be at Louis Herron Toyota for the Love Bucket. 8:27 at Country 102 with Travis Tritt.